guys, and welcome to my video. Now, this is a video I've been wanting to do for a while actually, and that's because there's a question that I think people don't ask enough, and that is, do you actually need a sound card? People don't ask this enough because these days all motherboards have some integrated audio into the motherboards themselves, and because it's there when you get your computer and it's not a big flashy graphics card or processor, a lot of people don't really think about it these days, and it's probably one of the most undersold components in your computer. This one here is the Asus DGX. It's not particularly expensive. It costs around £20 or around $35 US, and it does a very good job, and a significantly better job than what your motherboard can do, and it really doesn't cost very much at all. Now, a sound card obviously outputs sound to your speakers, but what a sound card does better than what your motherboard can do is it does a lot better job of it and produces a lot richer, cleaner sound. And one of the reasons for that is because it's a separate card that's not actually on your motherboard, and so you don't get any electrical interference from components on the motherboard itself because it is separate, and you don't get that sort of distortion that is quite common with cheaper motherboards these days. If you buy a more expensive motherboard, then yes, you are going to get some good sound, and you could even get better sound than this if you're spending a lot of money. But real sounds you need a sound card for. Now, this one really does sound genuinely a lot better than what my motherboard used to sound like, because I did use what my motherboard could provide off the integrated sound for quite a while, but I just decided that I should give a sound card a go. I read a few different blogs about this stuff, and I thought, well, it can't hurt for £20, and it really does make a significant difference, and I really recommend you get one. But there are a few questions that I'm sure you want to know. Now, the first one is something that a lot of people, well, it's kind of like a rumour that people think, and that is, does a sound card give you extra frames per second in your game? Because obviously your processor doesn't have to do the work. The work gets done through the card itself. It decodes all the stuff, and no, it does not give you any extra frames per second at all, not even 1 or 2, so unfortunately you don't need to worry about that, and yeah, so that's not a reason to buy one. The main reason you'll be buying one is just because the sound quality is significantly better, and another thing is that because it's got amplifier in it, it will also amplify the headphone jack and the microphone jack actually on your computer case. So if you use some nice analog headphones that you plug into your case, then the sound card is going to do a great job, and automatically switch between the header on the card and the back plate of the card, so it automatically switch between speakers or headphones depending on what you are using. When you buy a sound card, you can spend between £20 or up to £200 for the real consumer sort of stuff. It's only really worth spending a lot of money if you've got some nice speakers. So my speakers are fairly average. They're 5.1 speakers, so the speakers themselves are going to be of a lower quality than if I spent the same amount of money on some 2.1 speakers, but the higher quality your speakers, then the higher quality sound card you're going to want. You're going to want to get a similar level of performance out of your sound card than you are out of your speakers, because if you have speakers that are too good or a sound card that's too good for the other one, then you're just not going to get the benefit. You only really want a nice sound card if you're going to be using analog devices. So if you're going to be using a USB headset all the time, USB speakers all the time, or you're going to be outputting digital signal to an external amplifier or receiver, then a sound card's not really going to be much benefit either, because it is a digital signal. You've got two main choices for your sound card. You've got Creative and you've got Asus. Now, I can't speak on the Creative front, but I know that my Asus drivers are pretty bad. They do get updated, but not as often as they should do. They did actually cause some crashes, but luckily enough there are some great guys that made some third-party drivers. I believe it's called Uni Audio, and these drivers, they even have 3 different drivers for you. You can choose which one you want, and what they do is they clear up any extra lag you get, so like the lip sync between what's being displayed on the monitor and what's actually being heard out of your speakers through the card. Wasn't actually that great with the default drivers, but as soon as I'd switched to the third-party drivers, then the lag's completely gone and it sounds great, and actually it fixed all of the crashes. Haven't had a single crash, touch wood, due to sound since I changed the drivers, so absolutely brilliant. So I really recommend that you should get a sound card. All you need is obviously some money. Hopefully you have some of that, enough of that to buy a sound card, otherwise it's not going to happen. And you need a free PCIe slot, or you could actually get a completely external USB sound card. There are some nice ones out there and those perform just as well. And in some cases they can perform better, but obviously it will vary from model to model. So all you do, like a graphics card, is simply just take out the PCI bracket, put it in a free slot, screw it back down, and plug your front panel connector, which will be connected to your motherboard, out of the motherboard and into the top of the card, and you just need to install the drivers and you're good to go. So thank you for watching this video, and I really do hope that instead of spending 30 quid on a game, you spend 20 quid, or obviously the US dollar equivalent, on getting a sound card, because you're going to get way more of a benefit out of it than you are, you know, buying a game, to be honest. Obviously buy both, but sound card for the win. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.